Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
And now let's give a warm welcome to our main speaker, Wayne.
I'm Wayne Butler, I'm an alcoholic. If I was judgmental, I would note your time. How was it? Thanks for sharing. I was here about 4 years ago and a year ago, and you prepped me for it. I remember when she said tonight we'll take about a 5-minute break, I laughed so hard I lost my denture sitting right there. Congratulate the birthday people. Thank our first speaker. I wish I could have taken a picture of the look on her face when she found out she was being taped. So now that I know, I'll change everything. I want to echo what the Assistant Secretary said about the anonymity of Alcoholics Anonymous. My sponsor, when I first moved to California 5 years ago, told me I would probably, see, I come from Podunk, Illinois. Population 300, counting corn. And I was a bit obsessive compulsive. I watched TV 24 hours a day. My mother would call me up to see what was on the TV guide for that week. When I moved out here, he said that I would see a lot of men and women of TV. And he says, when you do, act like you don't recognize them, ask them their first name, walk away and mind your own damn business. Because they don't want to be recognized either. I found out that's partly true. And that's worked for me because I'm in a home group now where there's a lot of notoriety. And me, I'm just a dumb, goofy, retarded kid from Podunk, Illinois, and I'm not being hard on myself. It just happens to be true. I have a right to being retarded. I'm a alumni of the class of 1968 Moline High School retarded class, and I'm proud of it. When you're retarded like I am, people are perplexed. It allows me the anonymity factor. I guess I'm on that hill tonight. The anonymity factor, if you're new, it allows me to be equal. And if I can't be equal, I can never be good enough. You see, I'm always less than. So if you have a name or a face or a wallet that's fuller than mine or a car that's better than mine, I can't be with you in AA. I can't be here. I have to leave. Thank God we have this anonymity clause where you may think you're better, but I know you're not. Some have tried to convince me after the meeting. Yeah. I'm an alcoholic, and I love AA. If I don't say nothing else, I want you to know how much I love AA. Because I found out in AA, when I'm with you, I'm not with me. You know what I mean? Because when I'm not with you, I'm left with me, and I'm not alone. There's a neighborhood watch sign right there. There's things going on in my mind that are diagnosable. I remember after I got diagnosed bipolar, I told my sponsor I was bipolar, and he says, yeah, I know, your head's in your ass. You'd have tried to shoot him too. I love AA. I believe the reason I love AA is AA has allowed me to do things for you that of my own free will I wouldn't have time to do. I have too much time consumed in controlled thinking to get up and do anything for you. You know, in our book, Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Silkworth lays out a group of symptoms that fit me like a glove. In the big book, in the 12 and 12 and AA Comes of Age, other normie authors have contributed to my condition. The best way to describe it to you collectively is to share it this way, according to these fine people. When I say to you I'm an alcoholic, what I'm really suggesting is that though I appear to be adult in my years, I remain childish, grandiose, and immature. As a going human concern, my natural state is one of growing anxiety, depression, and fear, which is coupled with an excessive desire for excitement. Which is complicated with and exacerbated by an obsessive need for attention, acceptance, and approval. A condition which renders me restless, irritable, and discontent with life. I ain't done yet. If I were, I might not need to be here. Silkworth describes that as what's known in the big book as an internal spiritual maladjustment, the ism, internal spiritual maladjustment. Means I'm maladjusted to life and in full flight from reality. Now, how that's indicated is, mentally, I am driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, all of which drive me to live my life according to selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, inconsiderate, resentful, and frightened motives, which, emotionally speaking, means I'm a bit sensitive. I have this strong tendency to take everything I see and hear personal. I can't stand criticism, and I don't like praise. When it comes to suffering emotionally, I don't like it a damn bit, and I don't do it alone. Socially, I'm a bankrupt idealist and brooding perfectionist who lives defensively and guarded in fear of being found out. My interactions with others, I'm quick to anger, slow to virtue, and I get a distinct delight and pleasure out of criticizing and judging each and every person I meet. My outstanding characteristic is defiance, and rebellion dogs my every step. Those are my finer qualities. Anybody want to date? If you got that going on, you'd love AA too. Now, I didn't know that that was the collective unconscious symptoms that I'm afflicted with, and I don't even know it. Therefore, my condition is one that's unknown to me and pisses you off. So I live funny. The best way I can describe that to you, some people become brilliant. Some people become athletes. I became an over-underachiever. I took those symptoms and imposed them upon myself. And what I mean by that is collectively I feel like I don't fit in, I don't belong, I'm not a part of. I wonder constantly what is wrong with me. I'm the kid that looked in the mirror between the age of 8 and 9 and said to myself, Butler, it's too bad, pal. It's going to be a long life. And it's going to be lonely because you are but ugly. I did that without any help. And I don't know where I got those feelings. They just came upon me from nowhere. And according to that, I felt a little retarded too, and I started acting retarded. I guess when you act retarded, they'll diagnose you retarded. That's what they did. 9th grade, I was so retarded, I got put in the retarded class. I stayed there till I graduated high school. I did so good. My report card read, Wayne is an underachiever. Wayne has not realized he has potential he is failing to recognize in an effort to live up to. That's a future outlook if I ever heard one. I felt awkward. Now, that doesn't make me an alcoholic. I'm going to tell you something. In a textbook called the DSM-3 and 4, that would identify me as an intense neurotic with a little bit of a Valium deficiency. Save one thing. When I was 17 years old, I found the cure for my dilemma, and not knowing it was my cure, it almost killed me. I went to a party when I was 17 years old with a friend that felt sorry for us retarded kids. His name was Tom. I was 17. I went to that party, 6'3", 120 pounds, feeling stupid, dumb, and ugly with a pimple right in the middle of my head when I had hair. And if you'd have popped it in my face, it would have come off. I'm standing up watching everybody dance, and Tom brings me over this long brown bottle with a red, white, and blue label. And I'm a flag waver. I'd have drank acid if it had a flag on it. I drank it, and I said, Tom, that tastes terrible. Give me a Pepsi-Cola. And I remember Tom saying to me, that's okay, kid, you'll get used to it. Now, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Silkworth gives an excellent description of what afflicts me. It says, in the alcoholic and only in the abnormal drinker does this occur. I experience an unusual abnormal reaction to alcohol, and that's essentially why I drink, is because it creates an illusionary effect, one that causes me to be obsessed with it to the points of insanity, death, and beyond. Now, that all sounds good. I have no idea what it means yet. I can tell you now. Somewhere between 4 and 5 Budweisers, I got so good looking I couldn't stand it. I remember looking out on that dance floor, and I eyeballed me a blue-eyed blonde. I walked right up to her and asked her to dance, having never danced in my life. And she said, okay. That was my first problem. Later that night, I found out sex meant 2 people. I didn't know that. Now, I've been having sex since I was 13. I thought I was getting good at it. She screwed everything up. I blacked out that night, though I didn't know what a blackout was until I came to AA. Later on, a few weeks later, my dad called me in to make it very simple. My dad said, pal, we got a problem. I said, what is that? He says, you know that girl you was with at that party? I said, yes. He said, she's 16. I said, okay. He said, she's pregnant. I said, really? What's that mean? In the state of Illinois, a boy 14 or older has sex with a girl 17 or younger, whether she goes along with it or not. It's called statutory rape. I said, Dad, what's that mean? He says, probably 20 years to life. I said, even if you're retarded? For the sake of time, we got married. I found out if you marry me, you don't go to jail, so I fell in love. And I'm not proud of it, girls. I get funny when the pressure's on. I get geographical. My brother was in a place called Vietnam in the Navy. I didn't know where that was, but I knew it was a long way from where I was standing. So I remember I said to my dad, Dad, can I join the Navy? My dad looked me in the face and he said, boy, I don't know if they'll take a retarded kid, but let's go see. He was up in the love level, I'll tell you. And I went to the Naval recruiter, took their entrance exam, and scored in the upper 3 percentile of the United States Navy. I was a confusing child. I got put in the reserves because I had to graduate school, and they was curious about this retarded thing. So during that year, you know, we had the baby and all that stuff, and just before I turned 18, I went to a party for the second time. Now, in the big book, Dr. Silkworth says that abnormal drinkers of this variety experience strange mental twists which precede a lapse or relapse into drinking. I had one of them. I went into this party and I saw Budweiser and I made the decision not to drink it because I didn't want no more babies. I saw this clear bottle of liquid and I didn't know what it was. They call it tequila. So I drank the whole thing. It tasted bad, but I didn't care. I wanted to fit in really, really bad. And I had no idea that I was pursuing that unconscious effect that I experienced at that party at 17. And I had no idea that that is what was going to perplex me until the day I stopped drinking and beyond. But I drank that whole bottle of tequila, and I remember Tom cautioning me that I better watch out. It might catch up to me. Well, I don't know what that meant, but I found out later that meant I was going to have a face-to-face talk with God. And I did. And I told God all of the terrible things that happened to me as a child growing up in an alcoholic home that I'm not going to tell you about tonight because frankly it's none of your business. And I wanted to get even. And I heard God say, go home and kill my family. So apparently in a blackout under the influence of tequila, I went to my mother's house in the middle of the night. I blew all the pilot lights out on the gas appliances, turned all the gas on, and went out on the front porch and waited for my family to die. I'm not proud of that. That's just what I did. I passed out myself on the porch, and I came to in the morning with my mother beating me in the head. And my mother wasn't mad. She thought I was dead. My mother had a terrible headache from being overcome by the gas, as did everybody else in the house. And I forgot to close the windows. We went to the doctor, and we did all the psychiatric tests. We took the MMPI, you know, the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Disorder. Took the Cal State, probably some ink blot. I love the ink blot test. If you sponsor somebody, make up one. They're great. And I took them, and here was the diagnosis he gave to my mother, though I am unconscious of it because when you're in the middle of it, you can't tell. He diagnosed me to my mother as a psychopath. He said, we don't believe your son will respond to treatment. He lacks conscience and guidance. He lacks a remorse factor. He has no ability to feel guilty. He doesn't have the capacity to love or to extend love or feel it. We are of the opinion that he's probably a potential homicidal psychopath, yet another one from Illinois. We don't know if we can let him go. There's a future for you. My mother mentioned I was in the Navy. The guy changed his attitude completely. He says, we know a good place for him. This was in 1968. So they put a gun in my hand and sent me to Vietnam. I was good at what I did. I was gone a total of 3 years. Now I got to tell you something. I didn't drink one drop for 3 years. And I saw a lot of guys doing drugs. This ain't an opinion about people who do drugs. I saw people doing drugs, getting addicted to drugs, and I didn't want that monkey around my collar. And I saw a lot of people dying needlessly because they were addicted to drugs and couldn't place judgment where they needed it. So I just went 3 years and took a little spin on my personality. I came back 3 years later with 3 rows of ribbons. I'd been decorated for bravery and I had good duty. I was made a captain's driver in San Diego. I was on the baseball team for the 7th Fleet, and my life was good. And I remember the night my captain asked me to babysit his kids. Now, I had no intention of doing what I'm about to tell you that I did. But I had this strange mental twist on the way to pick up his kids. My mind said to me from nowhere, Wayne, let's stop and get a 6-pack of Bud. We ain't drank for 3 years, and prior to that, we only drank twice, and nothing really bad happened. First time we drank, we did a very necessary thing. We helped reproduce. Second time I drank, I saved my family's life. Based on that, I got another 6-pack of Bud. I drank it, and I went to get another 6-pack, and I put his kids in the car, his 2 precious little children that he worshiped. I put them in the car to go get another 6-pack, and that's all I remember. I went into a blackout. I came out of that blackout with my captain 2 inches from my face, screaming, where are my kids? And I couldn't tell him. Really bothered him a lot. We did some research and found them. Blackouts aren't necessarily a bad thing. You just can't remember where the hell you've been and what you did. Come to find out, I took him to his sister's house and left him in her care. Now, don't you agree that that's what I should have done? I did it so he shouldn't be pissed off. Didn't faze him at all. He stayed mad. Restricted me to the ship. With my best information, I jumped ship. Got drunk in San Diego, snuck back on the ship, and reported to him Monday morning. I have drank 4 times in my life. He got together with a doctor, some people over at the San Diego hospital, some guy named Persh, and they determined because of my symptoms that I'm an alcoholic and I need alcoholic treatment. I said, you're out of your mind, And with my captain in front of my face and 2 lieutenant commanders, I said to him, listen, pal. I said, you knew what I was like when you took me. That's part of why you did. And I did good. But I ain't no alcoholic. Newcomer, if you're in this room, I want you to know something. I learned early on it doesn't matter how much you drink, how long you drink, or what you drink when you do drink. That doesn't mean alcoholism. What implies alcoholism is what it does to and for me when I do drink. And I qualified for this program at the age of 21, having only drank 4 times in my life. And it would be nice if it could have ended there, but it couldn't. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that's true. Chuck Chamberlain used to talk about unconscious separation. I got to tell you something what alcohol does for me. Alcohol has the power, an abnormal, unusual power, to somehow take a frightened 6 foot 3 inch, 120-pound buffoon and make me 5'10", 185, and blending in. And I didn't know that's what it was doing for me. And when I don't have that effect in me, I can't stand the feelings I've got, and I have to do bad things. I don't mean to do that, but I'm powerless. The cunning, baffling, and powerful aspect of that is I'm unconscious to the fact, and therefore I am powerless to do anything about it. I am truly in the depths of an insane obsession. And the other part of that I want to share about is the part that baffled me the most. I'd get to that 4.5 Budweisers, and I've got to tell you something, though I couldn't verbalize it, that's right where I wanted to be. I could be John Wayne. That was my hero. I could be John Wayne. I could fight anybody. I could gunfight. I could whip anybody in my mind. I stood up a lot when I should have shut up, though. And when I get to that point of effect, I don't want to go anywhere else. There's a thing in my body, an allergy to alcohol. Here's what it says. Wayne, we want 20 more. And I say, yup. Damned if we don't. And I am not occupied at all with the effect, the result of that event. And if I would have known that, perhaps I could have stopped it. But I believe that that's the baffling feature of alcohol. And it drove me to a point where I was mixing my drinks. I got to tell you this. Remember when Budweiser quit working? I didn't know it quit working. About made me crazy. Started mixing my drinks, mixing some fine wine, Ripple. Take a quart bottle of Bud and mix Ripple, Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill, Mad Dog 2020 Grape. Well, some of you tried it. Now that won't work either. I got to break the news to you, but it will give you terminal diarrhea. I have sat in meetings with it. You know what that is? I had diarrhea for 6 years. I did. I hate to tell you this. Don't want to offend any Christians. My first spiritual awakening was a solid bowel movement, I'm telling you. What was that? I got to tell you this, if you had diarrhea for 6 years, you got to have good decision-making skills and split-second timing. I'd be at Larry's Oasis, my saloon of choice. It'd be about 2 o'clock, and there'd only be one babe left in the bar, and I'd be figuring out what I'm going to say to her when I get down there. And it would occur to me that I have to release some gas. And I would think to myself, and I would take action. Boy, it's hard to be slick when you're slick, I'll tell you. And then old Don Juan would go home to his wife, and I'd go in the bathroom where my wife never tread, and I would be down there at the ivory altar trying to cool off. Hugging the bowl, putting my head up against the cool outer rim of the Hamilton, And all of a sudden I'd have to puke, and everything would be going, and my denture would fly right out. And it'd be a race between me and the bottom of the stool before it went down that little hole, And I'd catch it right before it went down, and I'd just rinse her right off and put her right back in again. I sure miss drinking. Well, it's time to get sober. I've got 2 minutes left. You mind if I take 5 or 10 more minutes? Do you mind? If you do, let me know, because I know you got busy schedules. Cheap tabloid people. Thought I'd get in on the act. I don't know what that is, but oh well. I come to AA by accident. I didn't mean to. I would have never come to AA, you see, because I'm not an alcoholic. I know I'm crazy as hell. I'm loony or a bed bug. I know that. There's a certain kind of pride to being insane. People give you a wide swath. Oh, there he comes. I would hear that. And if I was having a good day, it would change everything. I'd have to be crazy. And I was good at it. And then I came to AA and met some of you. I was sleeping in this abandoned car. That's how cool I was. And I didn't mean to come to AA. I was mopping and waxing these 2 dining room floors for 2 sausage sandwiches on whole wheat toast. And I didn't know the guy that owned the place was in AA, nor would I have cared. But I want to tell you about my introduction to AA, because if you're new, I want you to know how important this is to me. This guy comes up to me, and I've got a hearing problem. Perhaps you don't. I'll explain it to you in a minute. He gave me this brass coin with 2 A's on it. He gave me an address, and he says, I know you need some help. I'm going to send you to friends of mine. They'll help you. Now, what I heard him say was he'll give me some food to eat, some pocket dough, and 3 or 4 packs of Pale Mel tailor-made cigarettes. If I hadn't heard that, I would have never went. Next day, I went to this address, 416 16th Street, Moline, Illinois. On the side of the building was this great big sign that said, building condemned, do not enter. Right underneath it was a sign with an arrow pointing into the cellar. Cellar windows were painted black. There's a light bulb hanging on a cord, flickering from a short. He said, if there's the lights on, go in, they're expecting you. The sign said AA 16th Street, welcome. So I charged in there because I was hungry. Now I'm like a bull in a madhouse china shop, you know what I mean? I didn't notice that cellar door was 5'10"ish. I caught it right at the eyebrow. It literally knocked me off my feet. Now I slid into my first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, I got inside that door, about 6 feet inside that door was a round table with 6 or 7 old people, had to be talking about their life insurance policies. And I slid between these 2 ugly, cranky ones, and this guy gets up and he looks at me in front of everybody, goes like this. And then he goes, slide right in here, dummy. We got a wrench to fit every nut that comes in the door. I took that personal. You can call me retarded, but you can't say that. And I'm thinking about shooting him. And the next thing out of his mouth truly saved his life. He says, and dummy? I said, my name's Wayne. He says, I heard you, dummy. He says, I'm going to be your sponsor. That saved his life. You might wonder why, since I've never been to AA before. I played baseball. Sponsors pay for everything. He instantly, unequivocally had my attention. I listened to him garble about love and stuff for about an hour, and it was all men. In Illinois, that wasn't cool. And he says, you know what, if you meet me tomorrow morning, dummy, I'll buy you breakfast. He had me again. I'll go anywhere for free food. He says, meet me at 9 a.m. and don't be late. I said, I won't be late. I'm working on Central Dumpster time. He said, what's that? Well, when you live in the dumpsters, you got to develop this intuitive internal clock for when the pickup truck's coming. Hey, Wayne, y'all in there? No, they just pick your ass up and squish it. I met him the next morning, and he took me to a place called the Blandine Brady Street Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. We went up 12 steps, of course. We went into this round with more round tables. I said, Barney, what's with all the round tables? He says, it's so the devil can't corner ya. Looking for the Kool-Aid. And on these round tables were these bowls of donuts that the jail rejected free. Because they were so hard, they were potential lethal weapons. At least that's what I told him. And he said, quit whining and soak them in your coffee. I said, if I would, if I could, but the coffee's too hard. You got to cut it with a knife. Shut up, he says. I hated his guts. I got to tell you something, I followed him around for the next 5 years. I had my head so far in his butt, he needed turn signals on his hip to keep from breaking my neck when he turned sudden. Man, I went everywhere with this guy. Hated his guts, went everywhere he went. Bad talked him everywhere. When he wasn't looking, I was talking bad about him. And he knew I had a hearing problem. He'd bring me to a meeting about this size. See, where I come from, this here is an international convention. And I remember this one time we went to the meeting near Chicago, and the old-timers sat in the front row. They made me sit in the back, second row, so they don't have to look at the disease. I know that. And there's a speaker up here lying, just like I am. Some of you are thinking that. And I would have enough courage, unlike you, to tell my neighbor. I was critiquing the speaker with my best friend Jim. I'd known him 3 minutes. I said, Jim, that speaker's lying. He couldn't have drank like that, his guts would have fallen out. He couldn't have done that, he'd be in prison for life. He couldn't have done that, he'd be in 6-point leather restraints. He couldn't have done that, he'd be... I went on like that for about 4 minutes. I guess my sponsor got sick and tired of hearing me. He turned around in front of 300 people, he looked me right in the eye and he says, shut up, you goddamn loser! You ain't got nothing we want to hear. And if we ever think you do, we're going to come out and find your abandoned car behind Harvey's restaurant. We'll toot your little horn. We'll invite you in to share. Until then, sit down, shut up, or leave. That's what I heard him say. What he really said was this. Shh. You got a hearing problem too, eh? I love AA. I'll tell you this, it's time for me to close. I don't want to disrespect your format. I really love AA. We've laughed a lot tonight, and I hope you've heard a message of recovery amidst the laughter. I don't want to be up here and just be funny. I hope I've said something that matters. I think I have to me. I love AA. If it wasn't for AA, I'd be locked up in a loony bin somewhere. For a guy that at the age of 18 had no conscience, no ability to love, no remorse factor, the doctor said that would never change. That I would have to live either in an institution or be medicated or be given a lobotomy. That's what they told me. And you did something so powerful that science can't explain it. But after coming here one day at a time, I haven't had a drink of alcohol for 19 years and 11 months and 2 days. I haven't had any pills, powders, potions, or lotions that affect me from the neck up. I'm not even going to try that stupid old duels. I don't want to risk my life for one moment of vicarious pleasure. I have been given the opportunity to prepare myself to receive a gift. An opportunity to prepare myself to receive a gift of sobriety and faith, if I am willing to submit and commit myself to the AA way of life, absolutely, without reservation. Based on that idea, I did it very haltingly and challengingly. In essence, my first 7 years, I did steps 1, 12, and 13. I really appreciate the 3 blonde kids. By the way, if any of you ladies are in your first year tonight, and I come up to you after the meeting and say, hey, would you like to go have coffee and talk about God? Run! I love AA. Page 15, paragraph 3 to 12 and 12. says something like this. AA's 12 steps are a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which, if practiced as a way of life, can expel the obsession to drink and enable the sufferer, who am I, to become happily and usefully whole. I submit to you, newcomer, that that's the only carrot Alcoholics Anonymous has got. Everything else is extra. And I submit to you that the condition is, the if, is if I practice AA as a way of life, not as a program, not as a therapy, not as an aftercare, not as a 2.3 times a week as I feel I need it, but it means for me to submit and commit myself to the entire way of life called Alcoholics Anonymous. And it tells me that if I can find the humility or the desperation to do that, that one day at a time, I can truly become happily and usefully whole. And I submit to you that that is the unconscious effect of sobriety. You know, there are a lot of people running around AA that don't know they're getting well. We got to tell them, folks. I mean, I didn't know if I was whining my ass or scratching my watch for 5 years. My sponsor said, "You're doing all right," and I'm thinking about slashing myself. But my sponsor said, "I'm doing okay." Okay. You get one more day. But I think you're lying to me. He'd just shake his head. If you're new, I want to welcome you to this way of life. And embodied in that way of life are 12 simple steps that require the entire exploitation of all of my bad ideas and the adoption of new ones. And it can't be done overnight. For me, it's been a 20-year process so far, and I believe if I don't drink today, I might get another tomorrow sober, but there's no guarantees. I could be drunk tomorrow. I don't ever want to think I've quit drinking. And I want to lastly end with that. I have not quit drinking. I just ain't drinking today, folks. Now, to the outside world, it appears as though I've quit drinking. I've been without a drink for a long time. But you and I know I don't have the power to do that. I need you. I need it when I come face to face with you. I have an opportunity to recover for just that one day. And if I'm able to get outside of myself long enough to see that it's not all about me, that I have a chance at freedom. And because I have a home group, I have a sponsor, I have people I sponsor, I have you that I could call at any time if I feel the need. Unreluctantly. You know, for a retarded, shy guy like me, I get around pretty good now. And I'm ever so grateful that AA gave me the opportunity to get up and get out of my present despair and give me an opportunity to find faith, hope, and love in Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks for letting me share.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst and one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.